Hey y'all, I'm so excited that you're joining me for the Hey Pretty podcast. This is the series on faith bestie left behind. Can you tell that I'm excited? I think that I've done that for the past two, tripping over my words because I can't wait to get to the conversation. But we're gonna have some intentional and intimate conversations with my favorite girls ever. And that includes my sister, Britney Heaven. She's joining me right here in my home to talk about forgiveness in friendships. And I think that it's something that we all need to hear because it's something that we all need to put into practice. Everybody needs forgiveness, everybody needs relationship, and everybody needs to move forward. So I can't wait for you to join me in this conversation. Okay, I am so excited that you are joining me for another episode of the Hey Pretty podcast. This is the series on No Faith Bestie Left Behind. And I have some of my favorite girls joining me for intimate and intentional conversations about friendship, about worship, and about growing together. And one of them is my sister, Britney Heaven.
Hey, sis.
I was like, hey, friend. Listen, y'all, I cannot wait for you to sit with us in this space. But before we get started, what I want you to do is stop what you're doing, like, subscribe, and follow, and be sure to share this with someone. We want all the girls to get in on these conversations, especially the conversation that you and I are going to have.
Yes.
Because we're going to be talking about forgiveness and friendship. And I think that this is something that you want to make sure that you have your notepads for, your favorite snacks, your favorite drinks, because we're going to take our time with this because we believe that God is already here. Y'all ready?
Amen.
Okay. So, Sissy,
Hi.
before we jump in, I want you to tell them about you and not about the flammable hair, but you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So about me outside of my hair.
Being recording out here.
I know. I looked at the thing. I was like, that's right.
This is gonna be.
Oh yeah, the bloopers.
Oh.
This way behind the scenes.
Listen.
Look, then we can also about forgiveness,
about forgiveness.
about friendship forgiveness. Petra just told me to run out her house if
I
I catch
did.
on fire.
I did. But you can forgive me
But
because
I
I was
forgive her.
honest. I was honest with you. I didn't play a game.
You know what? If I didn't play a game, I cannot. I can't.
I I was honest with you. I love you. I care about you.
I love you. I care about you, but I don't want my house to be on
Period.
fire. You know, just make sure you snatch your wig out
Please.
on the way out.
Yes. Snatch. And run. And
I'll throw
run.
some water on you outside, sis.
They'll throw water on you as you run by.
Lord, have
They'll be
mercy.
ready.
It be on friend.
Listen.
It
It's
be
gonna be
on
great.
friends.
Is that rain? Wow. Listen, the Lord sent rain for that fire.
See, look at that. Even if Petra was telling me to get out her house, God would tell me. He is always on my side.
Every single time.
Lord
Listen.
Jesus.
Listen. What they say? Being God's favorite. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm that.
Mm-hmm. Period. Oh, I'm excited about this. I'm excited. Are we ready to go? Are we ready?
Oh, it's recording.
Oh, okay. Well, here we are.
Oh.
Well, God bless.
Well, there you have it. We've been recording so I am Britney Heaven, Dr. Britney Heaven, Pastor Britney Heaven.
All the things Britney Heaven.
All the things. And I'm just a young Jesus girl on fire for the Lord. I'm a pastor. I'm a business owner, entrepreneur. I'm a sister friend, cousin. I ain't no mother yet. I'm a wife.
Yes.
So I just am out here doing everything that God has purposed me to do. I've got my hands in so many different things. So I'm just your average, Jesus girl. That's the best way that I could put it.
But she's not average. But yes.
Not average. When I say average, that don't mean I'm basic.
See, now y'all understand. See, this is the type of energy. She understands. She understands. But I'm really, really excited about this because the girls who came to the Hey Pretty conference in 2024, they were introduced to you then.
Yes.
Because you helped facilitate a panel. And it was so wonderful because you were the first person that I knew was coming. You were the first person because we haven't told them our friendship story.
We have not.
So let me tell you our friendship story because this is good. This is good. Now, if you guys remember Anna, because you guys know Anna, this is another one of my DM slide friends, but it's crazy. So we were at conference in Ocala. I had just come back into the room. Everything had just kind of come together. We had just announced where we were going. Nobody knew where before that moment. I walk into my room and there is this message waiting for me on
Wow.
Instagram. And it was this person named Britney. And I said, who's this? Who's this messaging me?
Who this girl?
Right. And I was like, what is going on? And she was asking me about my mentor, Prophetess Christy, who had spoken at Ocala. And she was like, hey, how did I not know about this? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know, but it's nice to meet you, you know? And it was just like a really interesting, like, who is this person? Because she was talking to me like we'd known each other. And I thought that I had missed something. And I said, do I know her? And then she was telling me where she was in Jacksonville. And I said, wait a minute, you're in Jacksonville. We just announced that we're coming to Jacksonville.
That was the first time I heard it.
Yes. And she confirmed what the Lord had already told me. And I was like, okay, God. Because I wasn't sure how we were going to do it. But the first person that talked to me was someone from Jacksonville.
Gosh, that is some serious confirmation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And I was like, what is going on? But as our relationship has developed, we've had so many of those God moments.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's been beautiful.
It's been really, there has been no stress, no drama, no chaos, no tension, no confusion.
None of
in
that.
our relationship, and it has gone fast. Like,
yes, it has.
You know what I mean?
Something I love that you did at the beginning of our friendship.
Yeah.
So we got on a phone call.
Yeah.
We scheduled a phone call because we got the kind of friendship we schedule calls.
Yes.
So our first phone call that we scheduled, she said, okay, so I'm going to tell you this in advance. You know, please don't get offended if we don't talk every day. I'm like, girl, you are right up my alley. And, you know, both of us came in with that mature aspect of our friendship. And that's what has made it so beautiful. But we there for each other when we need to be.
Yes. Yes. Without question.
Yes.
I don't think that I've ever had to question if you were down.
Yeah.
And I knew
Same here.
If I said, hey, I need you to pray for me, I don't have any detail. I'm just sending her a text that she's immediately going to go to war on my behalf.
Absolutely.
And I think that you said exactly what I needed you to say to get to where we're going. As you said, we came in with this mature attitude.
Yep.
And that's why we don't have the chaos that we may have had in past friendships.
Come on.
Okay. All right.
Let's not even go down
you
that
know what I mean? Like, I think that has made the difference. But I think it also speaks to forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because you've learned how to forgive past friends, current friends, but also how to honor current friendships because of those seasons. And I really want the girls to hear that, because I think that some women still struggle with releasing things.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean?
That's true. It's really, really true. So, my story, I have faced a lot of like hardship with women in particular. And I've always kind of been that girl's girl, where I just wanted to be that friend that go on girls trips and, you know, about 5 of us, let's go to Cancun, you know, but it looked like I just always had like a battle, you know, with women. And a lot of times, you know, we don't like to say this like this, but some things be jealousy, envy, and you try your best to be just like the best person and friend possible. But one of the things that I understood over time, and those seasons really helped me. And sometimes you need those seasons, you know, like the scripture say, it was good that I was afflicted. Because it gives you thick skin. And it teaches you the person that you don't want to be and the person you want to be. So,
I love that.
Something I always say, a lot of times, especially women in particular, we're taught in church to prepare for the covenant of marriage, but we're not taught to prepare for the covenant of friendship.
Come on. I talk right.
We're not taught to prepare for the covenant of friendship. So you have all these women preparing to be good wives, but not preparing to be good friends.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're not doing 2 things that's needed for good covenant friendships while they're in a season where they may seem isolated or may seem like they don't have as many friends, and they're not preparing. And they're not creating disciplines in their own life, you know, and they're not maturing in areas. It's hard to be in a covenant relationship if you're not mature enough to. Where there is a lack of maturity, the spirit of offense has a door. You know, so if you start practicing maturity before that covenant friendship comes along, you won't ruin something that's good.
I like it.
You know, you won't ruin something that's good. And so for me, I had a lot of traumas that happened in friendships.
Yeah.
And I had to make up in my mind that I need to forgive them for me. You know,
Yeah.
the goal is I need to feel peace within myself because it was affecting me.
Yeah.
You know, who wants to go to church, see Sister So-and-so, and you have to pretend? You know,
Yeah.
you have to put a smile on your face. You have to,
Yeah.
you don't want to have to, you know, feel those kind of things. And I would say to, you know, women that you have to learn how to mature. Be realistic with yourself. Don't just approach yourself as the person you think you are. Approach yourself as the person you really are.
Hello.
You know, so if you know you got a bad attitude,
Period.
you need to work on that before God sends you covenant relationships. If you're a needy person, you need to work on that before God sends you a covenant friendship. Because you couldn't be friends with like people like me and Petra, being needy. You know,
Not gonna be able to do
we're
it.
gonna offend you. We're gonna offend you a tad
And
bit.
not on purpose.
Not on it. Don't be intentional.
It's not intentional.
You know, and I really do believe that God have like those friendships. You have to have discernment too.
Yes.
It's okay not to be like, you know, you're not gonna be friends with everybody. The Bible tells us to be friendly.
That's it.
To everybody,
There's a
but not
difference.
everybody you're not gonna come in covenant with.
You can't.
You know, and that's why like this works because we understand each other. It's, you know, that, hey sis, let's schedule a call, let's talk, let's catch up. I'll shoot you a text. How you doing?
That.
I'm praying for you. I'm just checking on you.
That's it.
What's up? Or call, hey, I got this event. You coming?
Exactly.
I'm there.
That's it.
I wrote her and told her, hey, I'm having a conference. I need you to speak. What's up?
I said whatever sissy wants is up. That's what my response was.
So when you can develop that level of maturity, you won't bring offense into a friendship.
That's it.
You won't have that, well, she ain't answering me or she ain't called. You know, we grown. Both of us married. You know, you have kids. I want kids. You know, so it's about that level of maturing, and you have to even be able to forgive within good friendships. The reason why is because you have a good friendship with two imperfect people.
That's it.
Things are going to happen.
That's it.
But you have to be able to discern, is this worth giving up this great covenant? You know, or can I get past and forgive, you know, my sister?
Yeah.
And, you know, let's just move past this. So there are those moments where maybe a person isn't mature enough to be in covenant with you. That's one thing. Yeah. But if the person is a good covenant friendship, then you have to learn how to forgive within that. You know, so, and I think a lot of, you know, especially women are missing this. The church, the world, they put us up against each other.
Every single time.
They put us up against each other so much, and then a comparison game, social media, you know, how many flyers, what she traveling to, you know, what she doing. We've developed an issue with applauding for each other. Yeah. You know, so when I see you come up on my stories or see you come up on my screen, I'm like, yes.
Every time.
My girl.
We're consistent in that, though.
Right, that's true.
We're consistent in that.
That's important. Consistency. You
It's
know,
a thing. And I think that also is what helps us to navigate our relationship. You know what I mean? Because you're talking about the maturity. You're talking about the processing of us. You're talking about being able to prepare for things that maybe have not happened yet, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how true forgiveness happens, is you're prepared for it before you get to use it.
That's it.
Because a lot of people like to wait till the moment that they're offended. They like to wait till the moment that something's broken.
Yeah.
But if you have not trained yourself beforehand,
come on,
for the act of forgiveness, you may miss it.
That's so true.
And you may not do it fully. Because some of us say that we forgive,
don't really forgive.
but we don't forgive.
Not in our hearts.
And then it shows up in our other relationships.
That is a excellent point. You know, you start deflecting a trauma from a past friendship onto a new one that has nothing, you know, to do with that. If I treated you based off of the way that I have been treated in the past, this would have been ruined. You know.
Listen, same here. That happened in our first conversation. I told you, I said, I have some really good friends. I'm not looking for one. And the Lord sent you. And I said, what's going on? What's going on, God? I wasn't looking for this. I was literally in the middle of a major breakup. And I was like, what is this? But because the Lord had already been training my heart for forgiveness, I didn't hold you accountable for her behavior.
I love it.
And I took the time to say, well, God, there's something different here.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and release my heart towards her. And I think that being able to share space with you, not necessarily physically all the time, but in the spirit, our relationship, we've only been friends. And you guys, if you've been watching the last couple episodes, I've been saying that the Lord has been sending divine people in the last 2 or 3 years.
That's awesome.
That's you and me, but it feels like we have 10 years under our belt.
That's exactly how it feels. Like we've been friends for like a long time.
Like a long
and I know
time.
when I slid in your DM, I slid in her DM, y'all.
She really
I slid in her DM. And I know when I slid in her DM, she was like, Harpo, who's this woman? You know, I know she Harpo. You know, you told Harpo to be.
Exactly.
I know, you know, but I just felt led to reach out and not knowing we were coming from that same space. I'm like you. My applications for friendships were shut. I ain't accepting no new applications.
I'm okay.
There is no job opening.
Nope.
I'm good.
Nope.
You know.
Nope.
No, thank you. And then God had me to see, you know, your conference, and then he told me, he said, reach out to her. And then when I reached out to you, and then when you told me about Jacksonville, I was like, shut up. Like, hold on, wait.
It was so crazy. I was like, how? And I knew that we were ordained because even though we immediately clicked, I don't know if you remember, but it took a while for us to meet in person because the enemy kept bringing things up.
Yeah.
Like our scheduling was getting crazy. You were getting sick. There was something going on in my household.
Yeah.
And he kept trying to keep us from actually
Meeting in person.
That
is so true.
And again, we're talking about forgiveness. It could have been that we were immature and thought that the other person was blowing us off or wasn't really interested in the level of friendship that we said. But the consistency of the way that we showed up in the spirit for each other kept us rooted. I think that was the biggest thing, because it wasn't is she dodging me?
Right.
Is she doing this?
Does she really want to be my friend?
It never came up. It was very consistent. The way that you spoke to me, the way that you checked in, the way that I was doing the same, even when I knew that the enemy was, I was like, why is he blocking her so much? This seems weird. Like
I thought it was weird too. I was like, why we can't, we can text and get on a call, but like
we can't.
Trying to get, to each other in person. And I think that's when I realized, like, this really is a covenant, because the enemy ain't gonna fight something that God ain't in.
Period.
He's not gonna, if God is in something, he's gonna fight it. If God has nothing to do with it, then he's gonna let you roam free. Go ahead, have at it. And so I just know, it's like I said, well, God, you have a set time, you have a set way. And then, when you reached out to me about being on the panel, I said, I'm coming.
Yes.
I will be there. And like I told you, especially with the sisters, supporting sisters, I'm gonna probably be at every Hey Pretty I don't care if I'm just sitting in the audience. If I come to the Hey Pretty conference and be an usher, I'm the one with the cloth throwing it over you when you pass out. It's because I'm going to be there.
You will go down.
I'm going to be up there holding the offering bucket. Whatever it is I need to do to be there for my sister. So.
But that's true.
And that's how it's supposed to be. And sometimes it's also too what you do with the pain that you experience. You can either let it turn you into a better person or a bitter person. And that'll determine what your next friendships look like. You're going to give that covenant either the bitter side of you or a better side of you. So I decided that, you know what, God, and you could pray for covenant friendships. I said, God, you saw how I was treated.
Yeah.
You saw the different things that have happened to me. Please send me some covenant sisters that can appreciate the level of friendship and vulnerability that, I'm able to offer.
Sissy, I gotta stop you. Y'all. Okay. Let me tell y'all how God is resting in here.
Wait.
So let me tell y'all.
I ain't wearing my shouting shoes.
But you about to.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a shout. This is one that shout. Let me tell y'all something. So if you've been watching this series, right? So you've seen the progression of the conversations. Again, all these conversations are separate. They're all filmed separately, obviously. all of you are saying the exact same things,
What?
down to the same words.
Are you serious?
Yes, the team is behind. They'll tell, like, it's the exact same thing, like literally. And that's how I know that God is affirming what we're doing right now.
Oh my God.
The Lord is trying to get
God
a
is so
message to
good.
the women that are going to be listening to this.
Yes.
There is something
Ooh.
about our friendships.
Yes.
And when she's talking about covenant just means to come into agreement. And so we're agreeing on where we're going.
Come on.
That's
it.
literally, that's
covenant.
it. That's it. That's
That's the
all.
very definition of covenant.
And we have made the decision that we're going to choose God above all else.
Come on.
And even though I love you, I honor you, I respect you, that at the end of the day, I'm going to choose God even over you.
That's
Because
how it has to be.
That's how it has to be. And so when you're talking, I'm sitting here listening, I'm like, is she repeating the exact same thing? Like literally the episode that went before you talked about vulnerability. You just put us back in that space, and it takes us back to this of the aligning of our relationships if we're aligned with God.
Yes.
And so it gets easier to do the assignment of God, right? And we're assigned to forgive because he forgave
Us. Come on. That's the
right?
truth. Yeah.
And so our relationships, our friendships have to emulate our relationship with
Christ. Come on. That's it.
And so I'm sitting here just looking at your ears.
She's like, what happened?
Yes. But that's how you know that God ordained us.
That's it. And I wasn't here with the
She
other
wasn't.
recordings, and I think that's awesome how God is just like sending this confirmation, and then just even showing, yes, this is me. I create covenant relationships, and based off of where you're going,
Yes.
I know who you need, and I know who you need to be connected to, and so that's why I said, women just can't pray, people in general just can't pray for the covenant of marriage. Like, God, I don't want to be unequally yoked in marriage. God, I don't want to be unequally yoked in friendships. I'm going to let you pick my friends on the people. I'm going to let you pick my friends, God. And guess what? He picked your friend and said, okay, I'm sending this girl to slide in your DM.
Literally. and we gonna make this thing work because again, it's so crazy because I'm thinking back to how the enemy pushed so hard. We didn't meet in person until we got to conference.
To the conference.
And there were multiple times that you and I were trying to figure it out, make it work, all the things. And I realized that when we came into that space that he was trying to keep two generals from meeting to implement strategy.
Remember the first day of the conference?
Yes.
I'm sitting in the VIP section.
And I couldn't see you.
Waiting for you to come.
Yep.
And I immediately got sick before she even came in the door. And I had to go to my hotel room.
Yeah.
I was literally sick. And I remember going to the room. I said, devil, you are like, I'm right here in the same place with her. And you still trying to stop me from meeting her in purpose. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It ain't gonna work.
But it was funny because, and that night was crazy, but what was funny to me is it made me even more passionate about you. Yeah. The girls will tell you, like I said, we got to bring her back. Like, there's something there. We got to bring her back.
Wow. Because
the enemy is real nervous about us. And I don't understand it, but that ain't my business.
And I couldn't fully understand it either. But like you said, God knows something. And the enemy knows something that we may not know. We'll find out, though.
We will.
That'll be too big continued. Really? We got more testimonies coming.
We do. But I think that this is probably going to be the greatest one, that we trusted God with us.
That's it.
I really think that this is going to be the one, and why the Lord is orchestrating what he's orchestrating, right? Because he's even releasing you into a different realm, that you're going to be releasing your own conference, that you have your own books, that you already have been called to minister and lead and cover and all the things. But he's also giving you the women that will cover you in your quiet space. Because that's what you lacked.
That was important to me. I did not have that. Instead of having women covering me, I had women coveting me.
Yeah.
And trying to curse me.
Yes.
I had the opposite, and so that was one of the things that I prayed for. I said, and it almost pushed me to a place of isolation.
Yeah.
Because if you don't forgive, you will stay in a place of isolation because you're just trying to hide yourself away.
Yeah, because you don't want to be hurt.
You don't want to get hurt no more.
Yeah.
And you almost don't want to see those, people anymore. You just find yourself in an isolated place. And so I came, to the place in my life. I said, you know what, God, I'm not going to be isolated. Help me be okay with even if this doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Just bring me to a place of peace. You are the Prince of Peace. That's what Jesus, and if I got Jesus, that means I'm supposed to have the Prince of Peace.
Yeah.
So give me peace even in the midst of the chaos. And then at that, bring me friends that have peace on the inside of them. So if you have enjoyed this conversation with me and my sister Petra, please join us next year for the Hey Pretty Conference 2025 in West Palm Beach, Florida. You do not want to miss this.
Wow.
That me and her just connected. And guess what?
Correct.
Same thing happened. I saw a flyer. Me and her was just talking on social media, and then I saw a flyer. She'll be here in Jacksonville next month. And I said, are you coming to Jacksonville? She said, yeah. I said, this is my city. She said, you're in Jacksonville? I said, I kid you not, this just happened with me and one of my other friends. She said, are you joking? I was like, this is how God is doing it once you pray and ask God to send you covenant.
He literally sent us to you.
Right. And I needed that. And then two, if you're going to be in a covenant relationship, you have to be okay with them having other covenant relationships. You cannot feel some kind of way about their other covenants. Who they title with, your favorite fake bestie. Yeah. That's none of your business. You be the friend that you need to be.
That's it. In
that person's life. Your friends, if I see them right now, even if we don't talk like how you talk to them, hey girl, how you doing? I'm glad you love my sister. As long as you treat her right, we're good.
That's it.
We're good. Mi casa es su casa. Is that how you say it? I don't speak Spanish. I speak country. Sister. I don't speak Spanish. I speak country.
So I don't actually speak this.
But I don't speak this, but I think it sounds good. Like for a second there, it sounded like my name really was Maria.
Ooh, it did.
Maria Sanchez.
Very, very well.
Rolled off the tongue good. So that's important too, because if you don't find yourself in a place of forgiveness, even if you do have a covenant relationship, if you have not truly forgiven from your heart, you'll put that person in a place in your life, you'll put them in a position where you'll drain them.
Yes.
Because you'll be trying to soak something out of them that they can't give you. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what kind of relationship you're in, marriage, friendship, there are certain things people just can't give you.
It's impossible.
You still have to depend on God. And if you are a person that have been severely hurt, and then here comes a nice person that's offering you a genuine friendship, you'll start pulling on them too much. And then you'll start trying to get them to heal your pain when only God can heal that.
That's good.
You're going to them for what only God can do. And then now they're tired, and you've ran off a good friend from them being drained. And so it's important to mature. So when I met you, I hadn't had a person that I called like friend in a long time, or just felt really comfortable. I had like associates or different people that would come past, but nobody that I just felt really. And then when me and you talked and we reached an understanding in the first conversation. And I was just like, I love this. So what me and her are letting each other know, let's get it straight. We ain't finna get offended with each other. Sis, we don't have time. You might get a text once every 5 months. Yeah. But I'm praying for you, and I'm checking on you, and we check on each other, and we love on each other, and if we need to be there. You came for my birthday, y'all. She came for my birthday. Her and my sister, Sisteria.
We did. They came for my birthday, and I turned around. They surprised me. And I cried like a baby. And I was like, what is wrong with me? I was like, and I think the reason I cried was because I never had a friend that cared, like that, to want to surprise me. Most of the time when important events happen in my life, bridal showers, birthdays, I would have people that I called friends that purposely didn't show up because they didn't want to support me. They found excuses not to come because I just don't want to celebrate you, even though I'm calling you friend. And so to have seen that you came, and I was like, that was just the most amazing gift that I could have gotten.
Well, it was no question, because I think, again, when you say that you believe that you're called to this person, you have to actually act on the calling.
right? Because a lot of people like to have titles. A lot of people like to say, I'm called in this, I'm called in that, but there is absolutely no fruit because they have not acted on it.
Come on.
And if I
that's
want
good.
our relationship, our friendship to be prosperous, I have to act on the nurturing of that. You know what I mean?
That's
And so
good.
to show up for you is nothing. That's a thing.
I'm not gonna cry.
But I think that that's real. I think that we've got to get to the place that that's basic for us.
Right, that's basic.
That's basic. Whatever showing up looks like, because each of our relationships are different. Because I love what you said. You cannot be covetous of other people's other relationships.
That's
because
it.
they're going to have them. Like that's a
That's
thing.
gonna happen.
But you have to show up in the way that you're called to show up for them, in the way that God has released you, because there's a specific anointing between the two of you.
Yes.
Right? And if you try to dabble over here, you create issues.
That's right.
Right? But we've had no issues
None.
because we stay over him.
Right, and we know about our friendship.
Yes.
There is no comparison. There
No.
is no, and I think the beautiful thing is both of us have went through stuff
Yes.
separately. That by
Yes.
the time we came into contact, God knew exactly what He was doing.
Yes.
It's like y'all are two young women that have been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, both of y'all are kind of skeptical about new friendships. I'm going to bring, you two together in a friendship, and you guys are going to know how to nurture it. And
That's
how to, be good stewards over this friendship, because you know what y'all have been through individually, and y'all don't want to repeat that. You don't want to give that to her. She don't want to give that to you.
No.
And I just think that's, important. But it was very important that we forgave who hurt us
That's it.
before coming here.
There it is.
We
You got to
forgave
do the
who
work
hurt us.
first. That's the thing. I want to talk about how you actually did it, because I know that there's a girl out there's like, I hear you, but how did you do it? Because you'll see them and you'll get reminded. You'll hear their voice and you'll be reminded. You'll see some of the mementos from the friendship and you'll be reminded. You'll see the mutual friends and you'll be reminded. You
Yep.
know what I mean? How did you get to the place of, I'm going to do this. I'm going to forgive no matter what it takes. What was that like for you?
So one of the things that I had to just really come into, I would say this: don't try to run from them. Don't try to run. Don't try to exit the situation, because you being not present in their life don't mean you forgave them. And sometimes you need them to show up to see how you're actually feeling when you see them. So this is what God did to me. He would not. I wanted to leave my church. I wanted to.
I was done.
I was just done in so many different areas, and God purposely would not allow them to exit my life for a season.
Oh my God.
One of the main things I started to do, and this really helped me, it's a scripture. The Bible says to pray for those that despitefully use you.
That's it.
It was the hardest thing at first, but I started praying. I literally started praying, and then when I saw them, prayer was lifting that thing off of me. It was releasing them out of my heart. And then when I prayed, I said, God, release me out of their hearts. And that's one of the most important keys. If you have to see this person, if you have to be reminded of them consistently, first off, sometimes God have you there so you can really be healed.
Yeah.
You don't know if you healed or not if you're not seeing the person.
That's
if
so
you're
true.
not going around, you really don't
so
know. So absence presence doesn't mean forgiveness is taking place. And I came to grips with, okay, God is just not letting this go nowhere for a season. But prayer was the number one thing that helped me out. I started specifically just praying for names. I started, God, bless them, help their heart, heal them, deliver them. And then this is what God started showing me in the prayer. He started showing me the issues they had personally that caused them to be that kind of friend.
Wow.
So prayer caused me to have vision concerning them as individuals. And by having those visions, it gave me compassion for why they acted like that. And that's what helped me release them and forgive them. Start with prayer. You get it, sis?
Yes,
you
I do.
feel that thing?
I do.
You feel that thing?
I'm like, okay, God.
So when you start that was one of the main things for me.
Mm-hmm.
Praying, and then God started revealing. And when I saw, he was even showing me stuff about, their childhood, stuff they have to deal with family, different things like that. And God started revealing, and then I was like, this is why this is happening. And then I was able to say to myself, this isn't about me. So
At all.
I didn't take what was I didn't take, what was spiritual personal anymore.
Ooh, okay. Well, I felt that one.
I didn't take it personal anymore. And so praying calls you to forgive, and that takes you out of putting yourself in a personal place of pain. So once I grabbed that, check this. They didn't change. I did.
You did. Yep. That's
So now I could go around them, and although they may still be acting the same, or still, my perspective changed after prayer. After praying for them, after asking God to reveal what's really going on with them. And then once I could say to myself, Britney, how they acting, it's not about you.
It's not you.
I was like, whew,
It's a huge
I'm free.
release.
I'm free, because I know this is not a me issue. This is a them issue.
It's a them.
So now, God, I'm praying that you heal them, deliver them, set them free, so they won't be bitter and living in misery, and so they can have good, godly connections. So if they go to say something that's out the way to me, I can say to myself in the back of my head, I'm not going to say, that hurt my feelings.
Right.
I can now say, that wasn't about me.
That's it.
Because
it's not.
Right. I might have been a target at that moment, but it wasn't about me. And that helped me to continually walk in forgiveness. Now, guess what? I still see a lot of them people.
Wow.
Family members. I still see all them people. And we have great relationships, and a lot of them respect me now, because instead of responding with my flesh, I let God help me behind the scenes. I went in my war room, and now they respected my lack of response. And it changed their perspective of me. Now they don't give me a hard time. And if they feel in some kind of way, they don't project it on me anymore, because they can see I'm in a different place. Pray. Ask God to reveal what's the real issue. Once you really see the real issue with that person, you won't take it personal no more. And then you can walk in the journey of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a journey. It's not a one-day thing.
Amen.
It's not a one-day thing. And the enemy going to try to bring up thoughts again. He going to try to bring up, remember they did this to you? Because he's the accuser.
That's his job.
He loved drama. So he going to try to remind you. So when things like that happen, tell the devil, go sit down somewhere. I just said this ain't personal. Now, why are you over here talking to me? What did I just say? I rebuke you. Go on somewhere. Now go sit down.
He said go sit down.
Go sit down somewhere. Have several seats.
And I'm okay with that. I think that's key, because I love what you said. You prayed. He gave you specific scripture, and he revealed the thing about them. I love it. I think in a lot of my most recent ones, and especially the one that I was going through when you and I first connected, the Lord did it backwards, but the same thing. So he led me to pray, he led me to scripture, but he showed me.
That's good
and
too.
How I had idolized saving my friends. And so I was willing to hold on to a dead weight, because I believed I could save them. And so I had idolized the thing, and we know that the word says that the Lord will tear down any idols. Anything that distracts us from him, he will tear them down. And so what I thought was the enemy sending chaos was God sending himself.
Oh, wow.
And so the God of armies had set up camp around me to tear down what I had built. And that's a hard thing, to realize that you built the stronghold, because a lot of us want to blame the enemy for everything other people for everything, but sometimes we laid that bad boy brick for brick
and turn it into an idol.
Yes, because we're a good friend, and I'm a good friend, and I don't say that to be funny. I'm not saying that out of arrogance. It's because it is my heart's posture to be a good friend. Like, out of everything, one of my greatest prayers and my daily prayer is to be a godly, good friend.
Yes.
And I knew that. But in this particular situation, the Lord revealed to me, you are so used to being that friend that you won't release yourself when I've told you to walk away, because you're used to always being the one.
Wow.
And so just as much as this person had idolized me and the longevity of our friendship, that was their idolization.
History messed us up too.
Every time. But for me, it was being the one who was always there.
Wow.
And he had to show me, I'm going to break this, and it's you. And that was the hardest thing. And then he sends you and other women in that season, and I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I'm showing you why.
Wow.
Because you're holding on to this one, I'm sending you many.
Ooh.
And that's how we lose favor.
Come on.
Because we take ourselves out of alignment with him because we want to hold on to what's comfortable. But he's saying favor isn't comfortable. Favor is anointed, which means there is weight to it, there is crushing to it, there is processing to it.
I was trying to find something to play. I'm sorry.
Like that,
y'all saw me
like listen, that's the difference. We look for the comfort in our friendships. Yeah. It's not always going to be comfortable. That's not the requirement. The requirement is that we remain in agreement about where we're going.
Come on.
And that we're going to choose God above all else, including each other. That's not always going to feel good.
It's not. And it's going to put us in some uncomfortable positions. Anything that God is in, you're going to feel uncomfortable about it. You know, even if you feel the blessing and stuff like that. Even, you know, initially reaching out. When God first told me reach out to you, I was like, no, weirdo. That's weird, like stalker alert. Like, no, you know, God was like, just do it.
And that's how you be talking. Yep.
And then on your end, you was like, who is this? Because she write me like we've been down since day one. You know, like we down like 4 flats on the Cadillac.
Yes, literally.
So, although that was uncomfortable, and both of us at, you know, on 2 separate ends was actually thinking the same thing. Like, I'm not interested. In trying to develop, you know, anything. Same thing happened. I had a long friendship with someone, and when God had me to kind of break it, I did like you, and so, like what you just said really helped me just now. I was trying to fix it for so long, and God just like, I'm not asking you to fix this
at all. In fact, I'm asking the opposite.
Right, I'm telling you to go, you know, in the opposite direction. I'm trying to get you to pull a Abraham and Lot, go to separate ways so I can bless you. You know, it's okay to separate. Sometimes God don't just put things together. Sometimes he requires a separation, you know, in some things. And I think the enemy try to use that to make us feel like you're a bad Christian. Like, why would God wouldn't tell you, you know, to not talk to that person? Is that Christ-like? But in fact, this is God's, you know, doing.
Friend, hold on. Pause on the play.
Pause.
When we talk about separation and why we know that God is in it, when you read in the Bible, when the weightiness of God actually came, there was a rending of the veil. That's a separation. That's how you know that God is also in it.
Yes.
The weight of him, the glory of him can sometimes rip the thing apart to show that it is him.
Wow. Jesus.
But we always think it can't be.
This can't be God doing this.
But why not?
And that goes to show us that God always have ways to show. See, you don't know me like you think you do. So situations happen. Now, this is why we can never just know God. We can stay in a place of consistently getting to know him. So when situations like that, I'm the God that put together, but I'm also the God that can separate. You know,
period.
You can't just hear me when I say bring something together. You have to hear me when I say pull it apart. Like, you're done, you know, with this. God told Moses, he said, those enemies you won't see no more.
He meant that thing.
He meant that thing. That was and so you won't even try to go back. I'm finna kill him. So you won't even try to go back to him because, you know, it's familiar to you. You know, you're familiar with that. And we have to make sure too, especially if you was in a friendship you tried to fix for years. We kind of do like the children of Israel coming out of Egypt. I'm out physically, but my mindset not out.
Absolutely.
You know, so now before God send like other covenant relationships, you have to now work on your mindset. Because you don't want to get in that covenant relationship and be responding as if you're talking to that old person, as if you're talking to that old Egyptian. You know, now you just deflecting on this person.
Yes.
So it's also after you have been hurt, a part of forgiveness is working on your own mindset. You know, how do I think? Do I automatically think the worst case scenario? If they didn't pick up the phone, am I automatically thinking they acting funny with me? Or if they say a comment, am I automatically getting offended because I'm used to getting offended with this person? That was in my past. So that's a part of maturing. You have to work on your mindset after the pain. That's a part of the forgiveness part. You have to work on your mindset after you experience, you know, that kind of trauma, that kind of pain.
That's good.
And most of the time, people are, I'm okay. I'm fine. No, you're not.
You're not.
You're not okay.
You're not fine.
You ain't fine. I mean, you cute, but you ain't
right,
fine.
but you're not fine. Like, you are not.
Fine.
You're not. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that that's really, but I think to get to this place where we're shifting our mindset, we also have to change our definitions of things, because sometimes people equate familiar with fruitful. People equate familiar with favor. People equate familiar with even fervency. Right? Like, they do that. But we've got to shift that, because familiar is equated to complacency.
That's complacency.
That's complacency, because there's absolutely no requirement for you to grow. There's no requirement for you to stretch. There's no requirement for you to dig deeper. There's no requirement for you to level up in your relationship with God.
Yes.
Familiar is not equal to favor. And the Lord, when he's bringing us into these relationships, we have to do the work of learning the stewardship of them before. Ooh. And that comes from the forgiveness. Yeah. That comes from releasing ourselves from the familiar. Yeah. That comes from this idea that we're going to trust him with all of us, even the parts that somebody else broke.
Yes, that is so true. And the thing that you were saying about complacency, the dangerous part of complacency is that you could be getting hurt and you could be getting mentally abused, but because you have gotten comfortable with that place, you don't try to move out of it. You almost kind of adapt to pain.
Yes.
You adapt to toxicity.
Yes.
You adapt to the negativity. And now you find yourself doing stuff like walking on eggshells, trying to overachieve to please them, trying to watch your words to, you know, and because you are adapting to but God never intended for us to adapt to toxic relationships. Ever. You know, and so I always say this, if you're not going to be in a relationship with a man beating up on you, then you shouldn't be in a friendship when a woman is verbally, you know, beating up on you, or her actions are, you know, causing you to be sad or broken. Yes. You know, so you need to break some of these friendships that's causing you to be broken as a person. That's it. And that's okay to do, because God wants us to, you know, be at peace. And the only time I would say that you would need to probably stay somewhere for a moment, that's only if God is saying that this person is an assignment. Yes. If God is not saying this person is an assignment, then you have no need to just allow them to hurt you. And then two, that's good. You can start out with a person, but there are sometimes where seasons come where God now has you on a different level, and now have you in a different season, in a different place. And the hard part is you grow, they don't. Now they're offended with your growth. And they don't know how to be your friend up here. They only knew how to be your friend when you was here. You know, and so now the conflict of growth, and so that's why it's important to make covenant with people that has adapted to growth in the next season. When friends start saying, well, you don't act the same like you used to do, and you don't, you know, you're trying to get me to come back to a place that's comfortable for you. That's it. You know, and I can't do that. You're now asking me to choose my assignment versus our friendship. Yes. And I came here to do my assignment, God didn't send me here to just to be your friend. That's it. You know. So it's good to be in covenant with people that understand growth. They have to be mature enough, you know, to understand growth, that say, you know, like me and you, both of us are in ministry, both of us, you know, have businesses. So we have to be able to look and congratulate each other if one person doing something different, or look like they're on a bigger platform, or look at, you know, and all of that stuff is not even important. At the end of the day, I heard a rich man say, told me this, a millionaire, he invited me to an event, and it was a whole bunch of millionaires, and I was sitting at a table, and I was like, why am I here? Like, why did you invite me and all these guys? I'm not a millionaire. And he told me, he said, we all the same at the cross. You know,
that's good.
and that helped, like, God broke something in me that day. And so the thing about covenant is that you have to make sure you're in covenant with somebody that's mature enough when growth happens. If they're not mature enough, your growth will break your friendship. And then you'll put yourself in between deciding. I had a friend one time tell me, I feel like you're leaving me behind. Is that my fault or is that yours?
Yeah.
Why do you feel left behind?
Yeah.
Because once again, that sounds like a you thing.
It is a you thing.
You know, that sounds like a you thing.
is.
So even before you enter into covenant relationships, you have to work on your own maturity. You have to work on, you know, where you are so you can be able to understand some stuff so you can be a good steward over covenant relationship. And so now I feel free as a bird. My friends that's coming in, I'm like, girl, do your thing. I'm here. You want to go to lunch? Let's go. We going to a conference? Let's go. You hosting the conference? You want me to speak? You want me to usher? Let's go. You know,
Whatever it is, let's go.
Forgiveness releases a liberty over your life that the enemy can't do nothing with. You know, it shuts the door to offense. It shuts the door to so many spirits that unforgiveness would usually attach to you. But forgiveness calls you to be at liberty because no matter what's happening around you, you don't take it personal.
That's it.
And you feel free, you know, as a bird. This is why I can come in. I'm always jolly, like hey girl. You know, and I wasn't always like that because I was just always like in this painful place, like I'm too scared to say hey because you might say something behind my back or then I might cry. But I think it's just important. Forgiveness allows you to mature, you know, and that's going to be important for the next relationship. It is.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them, because again, I think that our friendships are our support system for where God is actually taking us.
Yeah.
I really think that. I think that who we choose, who our spirit chooses, is really going to define this next season.
Yes.
Because a lot of the things that you're going to want to do or that I'm going to want to do, I'm going to need people that know the language of heaven.
Come on.
Like,
that's
I really
good.
do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need the ones that just know the pop media. I don't need that. I need the ones that know the language of heaven and who can tarry and intercede and vice versa.
Come on.
And I think that that's, as much as I'm listening to you and we were talking about the familiar, I think that the people that are suffering in this place of unforgiveness, it's because you're overly familiar with their flesh. And that's all you see.
You almost made me choke on my water. I had to hurry up and go real quick because y'all not fit to call 911.
Because you already know.
You listen. Say that for the people in the back.
Like, really, you're overly familiar with their flesh.
Yeah.
And that's what you see all the time. And it allows your flesh to rise up in response. But we've got to be so in alignment and so much so concentrated on our covenant relationship with God that it's our spirit man. That's the only one that chooses and the only one that becomes familiar.
Come on.
Because then it guides us.
Yes.
It holds us to our submission and our obedience. And we become familiar with their spirit. So then we're able to respond in the way that you talked about, which is no response.
Sometimes that's the best response to give sometimes. And it allows God to do his job. You know, what it is that I went through like a disastrous situation and I heard God say, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, God told me, he said, go in stealth mode. And I was like, stealth mode? He was like, don't say anything. And then all the pieces of the puzzle just start falling into place without me saying nothing. And it's like I could hear God say, well done. Thank you for letting me. I told you have the victory if you let me fight the battle. If you let me fight the battle, you have, the victory. And even if you know that you are right about something, this is the thing about being in Christ. You have to know that you are right and still let God fight it. And not try to come to your own defense. Like, some of us, we be like lawyers. I got a case. We finna go to court. I got a case and I remember this on this day.
I know it.
We have, and so being able to be a good friend too is knowing when to get silent. When you're in any kind of covenant relationship, marriage, anything, is knowing when to speak up and knowing, being able to discern when God needs you to shut up.
That's it, literally.
When God needs you to let me, handle this. And so, being in covenant relationships is important to have the Holy Spirit. You know, he leads and guides. He tells you how to maintain your friendships. And I know there's this thing in our generation now, the cancel culture. But you need people.
Yes.
We were never sent here not to need each other.
That's it. Yep.
You know, you need people. You can't go around walking like, I'm good by myself. I don't need nobody.
No.
I'm Miss Independent. You can't do it. Am I talking ghetto? You know, you can't go around. You can't go around doing that, ladies. Let me change my voice.
Let me change my voice.
You can't go around doing that. So
it's the switch for me. It's the switch for me.
You know, so you have to know I need people. And so now I need to position myself, you know, to be a good steward over the people that God know that I need. So when they start trickling in, when they start coming in, you know, I can, like you said, show the fruit of me being a good friend. I could say I'm a good friend all day.
Yes.
But I have to show forth fruit. When you reached out to me about the podcast, I shut my calendar down, baby. I shut my calendar down. I said, don't call me. Don't ask me. I ain't going nowhere else.
I love that for me.
I
love that for me.
Down. And, you know, when you have those friends that, you know, they're not pulling on you about everything, but when they need you, you know, at the moments that they need you. I forgot who it was when we was at the conference. I was outside talking to my husband on the phone, and you wanted me to come pray.
It was probably Because
she said, "Pastor, need you." I think I hung up in my husband's face, and I know my husband was like, "Hello." I'll talk to you later. Bye. And I ran into my friend Nevy.
Yeah, and I did. That was a powerful moment, though. Too.
And it was a powerful moment, but I thought that was so beautiful. I was like, this is the first time I'm working with a friend in ministry. Yeah. Well, we can just, you know, call on each other, lean on each other. I thought it was so funny. That was my first time, like, really doing a panel like that.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, y'all, we got one more question. And then your baby on your team over there, she did, like, we was running out of time. She told me, I said, I'm just joking. We ain't got no question.
You understood. Listen.
Right. So I'm like, and then, you know, just to see you was like, okay, she is good. I can flow with her.
Yes.
I think that was important to see at that conference too. You got to see if you can flow, you know, with that person, especially if y'all in ministry. So I love our relationship.
I love our relationship. And I'm so appreciative that you would join me today.
Yes,
that you would get on the road and come to your sister.
Absolutely.
Just this random thing. Listen, we had no talking points. I gave her no scriptures. I said, I just need you to come.
Yeah. That's it.
I just need you to just come. And I think that is what I hope that you get from this, that you can have these types of relationships, that you are worthy of these types of relationships, but you've got to do the work.
That's it.
You've got to do the work to maintain and sustain these relationships, because God is sending them on your behalf, but he's only sending them to the women that will steward it well.
Yes.
He's only sending them to the women that will steward them well. And I am thankful that you have stewarded me well.
Same here, sis. Same here.
I'm thankful for you.
This has been a beautiful friendship. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see where it goes, you know, even further in the future, girl.
Because we do. Because we have years together.
That's it.
We have years
And it was
together.
almost like a Mary and Elizabeth thing, you know, like our spirits was just leaping.
Yes.
You know, like this different.
This is different.
This ain't like, you know, being friends with Shanae and Shaniqua that was, you know, causing me all kind of problems.
Yeah.
This is different. This is different. And the Spirit of God is in it. You know, and I wanted friends, like I said, once I matured, just not, you know, let's go on a girls trip. I need to know you can intercede.
That's it.
I need to know you can pick me up in the spirit when I'm going through, some tough times. I need, you know, the Spirit of God need to be in our friendship. And that's one of the most beautiful things about our covenant friendship.
I love it. I hope that you guys will join us in West Palm Beach for more of these conversations. Brittany is going to join me at VIP, and we're going to do this with you. We're going to be answering your questions. We're going to be listening to your stories. You're going to hear some of our stories, but we're about to put you into position to be generals, because I believe that we're generals too.
We're generals.
So we can train you. It's going to happen. I'm excited. So I want you to make sure that you like, you subscribe, you follow, and you share this, and then you join me next week for the next episode of the Hey Pretty podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, sis, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. Okay, so that means I'm going to ask you something. The first thing that comes to mind is what I want you to say.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So the first one is, what's your favorite worship song or songs?
What's my favorite worship song? The song by William McDowell, Here in the Room. And I might be saying the title wrong.
Ma'am, worship leaders in the room, so I'm telling her to tell me what the song is. She's trying to think about it. She said she's, what's one of the lyrics?
Sweeping Through the Room.
Okay.
You know what song I'm talking about? I love that. That's my go-to in my prayer
That's your
closet.
go-to? Okay, listen, if you guys have noticed, all of our rapid fire are all the same, and there's a reason, because we are curating a playlist for you. I want you to have these songs that have helped these women get to the place where they are and to sustain where they are. So be on the lookout for that. We've got a playlist for you. I also want to know, what is the scripture that you're heavy on in this season?
The scripture I'm heavy on in this season, Joshua 1:9. And I hope I'm quoting it exactly right. Do not be dismayed. Am I quoting it right?
Who has mine? Okay, listen, we about to do like old school church. Somebody
But
read
it's
it out.
definitely Joshua
Hey, you have the Bible
1:9.
on your
I don't
phone,
want
right?
to
Read
say
it
it
out.
wrong.
Strong
Be strong and courageous.
Listen.
Do not be afraid, for the Lord thy God is with you wherever you go. That's it. Y'all help me preach.
Come on. And Will. This is why you gotta have people with the word at their fingertips.
Joshua 1:9.
That's it. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, and this is my favorite question. This is my favorite question.
Okay.
For the women that are looking for this, that are wanting the godly relationships, not just the good relationships, what's the one thing that they need to look for in the woman?
The one thing they need to look, if you want a godly relationship, you need to make sure she got God.
Yo, that's it. It's a wrap. She did it. She said the same thing. It's it. It's a wrap.
Oh, it
Catch the ghost. Catch the ghost. That's
breakthrough.
it. What?
There's a breakthrough in the room. Yeah.
See? That's it. All of you have said the exact same thing.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Y'all
I'm not.
joking.
No, I'm not kidding. No,
I got what?
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not. That's it.
Done.
That's it. That's the wrap. That's it. That's the last question. Listen, if y'all want more of this, if you enjoyed this conversation, if you understand what the Lord is doing, not only do I want you to join me next week for the next episode of the Hey Pretty podcast, I want you to join me in West Palm Beach, because me and Britney are going to be here. And if you have seen what I've seen, if you've heard what I heard, you don't want to miss the moment. That means that you need to choose to be in VIP, because that's where she's going to be. And that's where these conversations are going to be happening. Go to heyprettylife.com to register right now.